wherever you are. Stay safe, stay healthy, everyone. Welcome to STEM Spirit Series. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Wahyudin bin Muhammad Ramin, third year student, Early Childhood Education Program UMS. Representing my STEM ambassador UMS, I'll be responsible for hosting this session today. And I'm glad to welcome Dr. Nazia Binti Abdulkadar, who will present a very interesting topic, seagrass ecosystem. Thank you for everyone willing to spend time to be with us today. For those people who join us for the first time, the STEM Speaker Series is a core joint effort with the Faculty of Psychology and Education UMS, aimed to deliver unique and interesting topics STEM along the series. This will boost up students and public interest to the STEM. Any questions from audience today, feel free to drop your question on the comment section. Please be informed that today's session certificate will be given to school students and UMS students by filling the form or QR code, which will be displayed at the end of our session today. Therefore, sit back at your position and let's have a great time from this sharing session. I would love to introduce our speaker for today's session, Dr. Nazia Binti Abdulkadar. Dr. Nazia received her Bachelor of Science in Marine Biology from University Malaysia Terengganu and Doctor of Philosophy in Molecular Biology from USM Penang. She worked as a postdoctoral researcher at University Putra Malaysia Serdang in the field of microalgae biotechnology for a year. Then in 2016, Dr. Nazia joined Borneo Marine Research Institute UMS as a senior lecturer. Currently, she is working on the genetic diversity of commercial food fish, Monopterus albus, which commonly is known as swamp eel, locally known as belut sawah. Besides that, she also working on the revival of polluted water river, basically in stock enhancement of selected fisheries species. Being a molecular ecologist, she is interested in the population and conservation genetics of the aquatic organisms. Without any delay, please welcome our special guest, Dr. Nazia Binti Abdulkadar.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wahyu. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. So I would like to take this opportunity to thank UScience for organizing this event. All right, so let me share my slide first. Okay, so today I will share some information on one of the most productive marine ecosystem in the world, which is seagrass ecosystem, that many of us are not aware of it, and we have less knowledge about it. So before that, let me introduce myself. So my name is Nazia, and I received degree in marine biology from University Malaysia Terengganu. And then I did my PhD in molecular biology in University Science Malaysia Penang. So I'm currently attached as a senior lecturer at Borneo Marine Research Institute in University Malaysia Sabah. And my expertise is in molecular ecology. And basically, I'm focusing more on genetic studies on both freshwater and also marine organisms. All right, so moving on to our first slide. So I'm very sure most of you, if you go take a stroll on the beach or those who are living at the seaside, all right, I'm very sure that most of you saw this grass-like structure at the coastal areas. So what is actually seagrass? The seagrass is a flowering plant or angiosperms that are well adapted to grow underwater, and they usually grow in the intertidal zone with the water depth of 1 to 3 meters. So these seagrass, they can be found along the coast and in clear and shallow waters, sometimes in bays and also lagoons. Seagrasses, they are well distributed around the world, and usually the seagrass meadows, they can be monospecific, meaning only one species, or they may exist in several species up to 12 species in one location. All right. So we have about 4 families of seagrass, okay, main families of seagrass. Okay, so if we see the terrestrial plants, they evolve from a group of green algae. So this seagrass actually, they evolve from terrestrial plants that recolonized the ocean about 70 to 100 million years ago. So we have 4 main families here. First is the Hydrokeraticeae. So this family usually includes both fresh and also marine species, and they can be found in tropical waters like Malaysia. And most of the common species from this family is the tape grass. Second, we have Posidoniaceae. Posidoniaceae is common, or they're endemic in Mediterranean Sea and also in south coast of Australia. And then we have Cimodocyaceae complex. Okay, this family is also known as a manatee grass family, and most basically they involve the marine species. And finally, we have the 4th family, which is Zosteraceae. So Zosteraceae, they usually occur in temperate and also subtropical coastal waters, and they can be found in high diversity in countries like Korea and Japan. Okay, this is the seagrass distribution in the world. All right, so they are estimates of global seagrass distribution about 177,000 to 600,000 kilometer per square. And there are about 72 species of seagrass in the world. We have about 6 seagrass bioregions, which are temperate North Pacific, temperate North Atlantic, Mediterranean, tropical Atlantic, tropical Indo-Pacific, and also temperate Southern Ocean. So Malaysia is here. It is in the Indo-Pacific bioregions. And if you see at the map here, our country have highest density of seagrass, about 10 to 15 species of seagrass, all right? So usually, how do we detect or observe seagrass? Okay, usually we map the seagrass by using direct field observations, meaning we measure the presence or absence and also the density of the seagrass, and then we take aerial photographs or from satellite images. Okay, Antarctica is the only continent without seagrass. So all over the world, you can find seagrass anywhere except for Antarctica. Moving on to seagrass and the coastal habitats. All right, so when we say coastal habitats, what we meant is the coastal area is the interface between the land and the sea. So the ecosystem here comprised of mangrove ecosystem first, after the land, and then seagrasses. So seagrasses, usually they require clear water. And then moving on is the coral reef ecosystem. And then is the open sea. This is the seagrass structure. All right, so the seagrass leaf, this is the seagrass leaf, what we call as blade. The function is for photosynthesis to produce glucose or food for the plant. And then we have rhizomes. Rhizomes is for gas exchange together with roots. All right. So root also, they anchor the plant to the substrate or the sand and also absorb other nutrients. if you see the seagrass roots, they are actually intertwined. Okay, they are between each other, which makes them a strong structure to hold the sediments. Example at the sandy beach. And then we have flower. Okay, seagrass flower. This is example of seagrass flower, which is for reproduction. Seagrass blade, actually, they lack of stomata, even though the structure is like a terrestrial plant. It is lack of stomata. Okay, stomata, the function of stomata is for gas exchange, but seagrass don't have it. So they use cuticles, but they have permeable cuticles at the blade, and also the both rhizomes and roots help in gas transportation. And seagrass also very well adapted to live in the marine environment, meaning they have high tolerance for salinity, and also they are very resistant to wave energy. So how do seagrass reproduce? Okay, for seagrass, we have two types of reproduction. The first one is sexual reproduction, which have flowers and pollen. So in this reproduction, the flower, the pollen from the female flower, it will be transferred to the ovary of the female flowers by using, by the waves or the water currents. So this is known as submarine pollination. Many species, they undergo this process and complete their life cycle underwater. And then second, we have asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction, seagrass usually, they will branch off their rhizomes, or they send out shoots and also roots from the nodes. So if there are, the seagrass are being grazed, let's say by sea urchins, or maybe disturbed by storms, they can actually recover and regrow back by this asexual reproduction. Okay, so to recap back the growth of the seagrass, okay, seagrass, they possess similar structure like terrestrial plants, which have roots, leaves, and also flower. They need good quality, water quality and also clarity to grow healthy. And they usually grow in the sandy areas like lagoons and also bays. Those areas with low or small wave energy. And they are very tolerant of varying salinity levels. Okay, so we will go into some types of seagrass that we can found in tropical countries like Malaysia and especially in Sabah. So we have dominant species like Anhelus acroides. This species also known as tape grass, tape seagrass. Okay, this species actually they produce antioxidant or biochemical compounds against predators, okay, to protect itself, competitors, and also potential pathogens. Okay, like for example, kaum bajau in Sabah, usually they harvest this seagrass from the wild for its edible seed. This species is from the family Hydrocarataceae. Okay, next is the Halophila ovalis. All right, this species also from the family Hydrocarataceae. It is also known as spoon seagrass because of the structure or the shape of the seagrass leaf. Okay, then we have another species, tropical species, which is Thalassia hemprichi, or also known as sickle seagrass. If you see the shape, it is a bit curvy, right? It's a sickle shape. All right. This is also from the family Hydrocarataceae. This is the picture during low tide. All right. So during low tide, you can see the seagrass is exposed to the light, sunlight, and then sometimes local community will go here to collect invertebrates, okay, like sea urchins, sea cucumbers, and other animals or scallops, right? And then we have Cimodosia rotundata. Okay, this is also known as smooth ribbon seagrass. and is from the family Cimodocieaceae. Then we have example of seagrass from the temperate country. Okay, Zostera japonica, or also known as dwarf eelgrass or Japanese eelgrass. This seagrass appears to be both euryhaline and also erythermal, meaning that this species can survive in a range of different levels of salinity and also temperature. This species is from the family Zosteraceae. And finally, we have representative from family Posidoniaceae. Okay, it is called Posidonia oceanica. This species is endemic to the Mediterranean Sea, but also found in south coast of Australia. So this species, they can form large underwater seagrass meadows. Okay, so why is it seagrass is very important? Okay, first of all, because seagrass is the main food or the main food source for many aquatic animals. Okay, seagrass beds actually are primary producers, and they are very important as feeding grounds for thousands of species around the world, and they support diverse food chains and also food web. For example, endangered marine organisms like the dugong or manatee and also green turtle, they directly graze on the seagrass leaves. Next, seagrass is important as home or habitat for many species, from commercial to endangered aquatic species. Okay, if you see here, there are example of species. This is Holothurias cabra, sea cucumber, which is highly commercial in Sabah. All right, so basically you can find this species in seagrass area. And then seagrass, actually they are important ecosystem because of their interactions with both mangroves and also coral reef. They actually filter sediments from the upland runoff, and at the same time, they act as a nursery ground and feeding areas for many coral reef fish species. Okay, so this is examples of eggs of gastropods, right? Seagrass meadows, they act as nursery for bivalves, fish, and also crustaceans. Okay, they have dense garden traps. They will slow the flow of seawater, and they create shelter, especially for the juvenile animals, to stay there until they grow, and also protection from the predators. So juvenile animals and also invertebrates like sea cucumbers, starfish, and also crabs. Okay, they cannot stand with the strong waves. So what they do is they seek shelter under the seagrass leaves. Seagrass also support fisheries productivity and also food security around the world. Okay, not only for commercial fishing, but also for artisanal or small-scale fisheries. For example, for local community, those fishermen or nearby community that living nearby the coastal areas, okay, they can harvest scallops. Scallops can only usually grow in they'll attach and grow in seagrass, on the seagrass leaves or seagrass meadows. So local community can harvest them. And also other animals like sea urchins and also fishes. Okay. Okay, seagrass also is an important hotspot of marine biodiversity, including those protected species. They support from small creatures, small animals to the largest animals. Okay, small animals means like coffee pods, zooplankton, okay, something that we cannot see with our naked eyes. Copepods are invertebrates, crustaceans. Crustaceans are like prawns, shrimps, okay. Mollusks like mollusks. Example of mollusks are gastropods, fish species, seabirds, sea turtles to sea mammals. So it is reported a single acre of seagrass can actually support about 40,000 of fish species and up to 50 million of small invertebrates. Okay. These are examples of macrofauna or meofauna that can be found on seagrass. Okay, this is sea anemone. They live as epiphytes on the seagrass leaves. Okay, they are attached here. All right, and then we have gastropods or sea snails that graze on the seagrass leaves. So seagrass leaf, actually they give protection for the sea snails as a shelter for them and also as food for them. And then we have small tiny creatures, okay, these are called zooplankton, okay, meofauna. This is examples of copepods. This is Poecidium, copepods. This is nematode and also polychaetes. These are marine marine worms, okay. Copepods. Copepods is the main food for fish, okay. These organisms are so tiny that you have to look at them using compound microscope. So these pictures actually we took from, this is the view from the compound microscope. If you see with your naked eye, you can only see like one dot, okay, small dot. So you have to look under microscope to see this view. Copepod is similar with prawn, okay? They are same group as prawn. They are crustaceans. Okay, next we have a water filtration. Okay, seagrass act as a water filtration. Seagrass is a natural filters. Okay, they trap fine sediments, suspended particles, and also excessive nutrients. So this will increase the seawater quality and also clarity. Okay, seagrass also significantly reduce the potential bacterial pathogens that is capable of causing disease in humans and also marine organisms. Okay, some species, they have anti-inflammatory properties. They also secrete biochemical compounds, okay, for their protection and also for this will also, besides being their protection, it will also protect other living nearby ecosystem such as coral reefs. Okay. And then next function of the seagrass is ocean acidification. Okay, what we mean by ocean acidification? So seagrass is known as ecosystem engineers because they provide various ecosystem services. They're also known as lungs of the sea, all right? Because they release oxygen into the water through photosynthesis. So it is reported 1 square meter of seagrass, they can generate up to 10 liters of oxygen every day through photosynthesis. Ocean will continue to absorb more carbon dioxide. Okay, and the pH will decrease. So in a long term, our ocean can become more acidic. So when it becomes acidic, organisms cannot survive. Okay, the acids will cause the skeletons and the calciums that is in the seawater to degrade or to dissolve. So seagrass help by regulate the chemical composition of the seawater by releasing oxygen and also removing carbon dioxide. So they remove carbon dioxide, they trap the carbons inside the sediments here and also on their leaves. So by doing this, they actually increase the pH back and the dissolved oxygen in the seawater. Okay, seagrass also important in climate regulation. Okay, seagrass, they absorb 83 million tons of carbon from the atmosphere annually. They actually catch about, they captures carbon up to 35 times faster than the tropical rainforest, even though they only covers about 0.2% of the ocean and only absorb about 10% of the ocean's carbon each year. All right, so they store large amount of carbon in the sediments and also the biomass. They help to mitigate the climate change. Okay, next is the coastal protection. Okay, if you see the seagrass structure just now, the rhizomes, right? The rhizomes and the roots are very extensive. They are very intertwined. Okay, they have very complex root systems. Okay, this is very important to stabilize the sediments, and also they reduce the wave energy by 20%. So they actually minimize the erosion or storm effect around the sandy beach. Okay, so seagrass also is very important as in the tourism industry. Okay, this seagrass bed actually they attract a lot of tourists from around the world for manatee watching. Okay, dugong or manatee usually they are found in seagrass. So some countries like Australia, okay, they have these activities like manatee watching, and then they have scalloping. Okay, they go collect the scallops, snorkeling, and also scuba diving, and also other sports. Okay, water sports. So this, of course, will also increase the socio-economic status of the local people or community living nearby the coastline. Okay, so seagrass. Do we actually need seagrass in our life? Okay, so actually humans have been using seagrasses for more than 10,000 years ago. Okay, so they use for use as animal feeds or marine feeds, fertilize the fields, okay, or crops, because this seagrass actually they are rich in antioxidants, and also they have very variety of essential minerals. Okay, they also used to insulate houses. This is thatched roofs, okay, made of seagrass. Okay, they say that by using seagrass roofs, actually it cools down the house, okay, insulate the house, the temperature, and increase the oxygen level, okay, nearby the area. We also have seagrass, powdered seagrass that usually we use for animal feed. All right, and then we have seagrass rugs or carpets, and handicrafts like handbags, okay, storage box, a food cover, and seagrass liquid, okay, compounds from the seagrass, some biochemical compounds, and also the powdered seagrass. Actually, they are very beneficial and are used in healthcare and also cosmetic industries. They have reports, okay, research have shown that seagrass have strong anti-blood clotting, antibacterial, anti-inflammatory properties, and some species are highly effective against the dengue fever or dengue virus. Okay, threats to the seagrass ecosystem. Okay, the main threats to the seagrass ecosystem is the pollution. Okay, so this picture, I took this picture at the Likas Bay few months back. All right, you can see here a lot of plastic pollutions, especially bottles, okay, mineral bottles, and then you can see other pollution, okay, domestic waste. Everything is thrown here, okay. So you have to be aware of this. You have to throw all the rubbish, okay, especially related to, okay, domestic waste, okay, at the proper channel, okay, at the dustbin, not to the into the river or at the beach, okay. You have to discard them properly. Okay, so seagrass area is being lost globally at a rate of 1.5% every year. Okay, 35% of the seagrass, world seagrass, already been lost. Okay, so seagrass, they are easily the habitat of the seagrass is easily polluted because they usually grow at the shallow waters, right? The coastal habitat. So they are more prone to the human disturbance. And globally, about 24% of seagrass species are now classified as threatened or near threatened. Okay, so if before we heard about microplastics, right? We scientists have discovered microplastics in fish, okay? But recently, we also have found microplastics on plants, okay? Not only on marine organisms or animals, but now on plants. Okay, this is example of microplastic found on the seagrass leaf. Microplastic is actually breakdown of larger plastics, okay, from whatever plastic bags or mineral water, okay, the bottle, the plastic bottle that we throw. So it is not biodegradable. So it will break in a long term, it will break into small pieces and it will become too small, okay, below below 5 millimeter. So we consider it as microplastics. So this small microplastic is very harmful, not only for animals, but also for seagrass. Okay. Next is the pollution. Okay, due to agricultural, aquaculture, urban, industrial runoff. Okay, so if you see the industrial, okay, they the sewage is the waste is directly poured onto the ocean, okay, channel into the ocean. So this will cause eutrophication or algae bloom. This is example of picture of algae bloom or red tide. Okay, so why does red tide happen? Okay, red tide happen because of excessive nutrients, especially nitrogen and also phosphorus from these activities that will promote the growth of phytoplankton. Phytoplankton also known as algae bloom or red tide. Okay, so this will cause detrimental effects on the seagrass because when red tide happens, it will block the sunlight. Sunlight cannot penetrate into the water column and therefore seagrass cannot produce food or cannot photosynthesis. So this will make the seagrass die eventually. All right. Next is human activities that causes habitat destruction, okay, by trawling, coastal development, and also dredging. Okay, trawling is example of trawling. Okay, this is example of trawling. They use heavy fish net along the ocean sea floor. So when they catch fish, they not only catch the targeted fish species, but also they destroy the seagrass bed or the ocean floor. And then coastal development, construction of resorts at the beach, okay, at the seaside, hotels, and also roads. And we also have dredging. Dredging means removal of sediment and also debris from the bottom of the ocean seafloor. Okay, this will physically damage the seagrass habitat. Okay, so when they do dredging, it will pull the seagrass out of the habitat and also eventually will damage the nursery ground, okay? Because seagrass also known as nursery ground for small animals, right? For invertebrates and juveniles of larger animals. So when they pull out the seagrass, the home is destroyed and the juveniles will be dead because of the destruction of their habitat. And then other threats to the seagrass ecosystem is the overfishing and also climate change. So overfishing threatens biodiversity, ecosystem, and also food security of local people. Okay, so for example, it will disturb the natural food chain. For example, if let's say parrotfish, okay, if we overfish, we catch a parrotfish, which are the natural predators of sea urchins. So the sea urchins can outgrow, okay, and overgraze the seagrass beds, and they will eventually clear the seagrass shoots. And then we have overfishing will cause, okay, anchors, propellers, and moorings directly damage the seagrass. Okay, it will destroy the seagrass beds. All right. And then climate change. Okay, climate change due to global warming. Okay, global warming will cause the sea level to rise, and then the heat stress that will cause the seagrass bed, radiation exposure. This will increase the storm activities, and all these activities will diminish the seagrass habitat and the distribution and also the diversity. All right, thank you very much. That's all from me. Back to our moderator, Mr. Wahyu.
Thank you, Doctor, for the great sharing session just now. Well, in my opinion, actually, I have learned a lot today. So maybe we have saw some interesting yet wonderful question from our audience. Here, the question from with Jones Lojunga. The question is, what is the history of spirulina? Maybe doctor can clarify the question.
From history of spirulina.
Yes.
Okay. From okay. All right. Thank you for the question. Okay, so history of spirulina. Okay, spirulina is not a seagrass. It's actually a blue-green microalgae. All right. And then, is it expensive if we want to have the thatch roof for our house? Usually, thatch roof is used in overseas. Okay. Maybe it is. There are. I mean, there are some processes involved to have the thatch roof, and it is. I mean, the process is quite long. Okay, they have to dry the leaves, and then usually it is used in overseas to usually it is used in overseas to insulate the house, okay, to get better air and also to lower down the temperature, especially during summer, okay, because the temperature is quite high, so they use the thatch roof. And about the price, okay, so about the price, I'm not so sure, but if we can cultivate the species, we can use it. If we cultivate the species. Alright. Seagrass hanya tumbuh di air laut dan bukan di daratan. Yeah. Seagrass, thank you Janice. Okay, seagrass, yeah, seagrass hanya tumbuh di air laut sebab seagrass perlukan seagrass hanya tumbuh di marine environment. Okay, dia perlukan salinity, dia perlukan water quality yang clear supaya boleh berfotosintesis. Dan kalau hidup di darat, dia akan mati sebab seagrass dia tak ada stomata. Stomata tu hanya ada di tumbuhan daratan kan untuk gas exchange. Tapi seagrass tak ada. Dia dah adapt untuk tumbuhannya di kawasan marine.
Thank you for the very informative feedback from our special guest today. Maybe we can go on with the Next question from our friend Justin Leong Yu Suen. The question is, what is the local industry or company in Malaysia which mainly uses seagrass?
Okay, research on seagrass is quite little in our countries. Okay, so many people are still doing research, but in overseas they already produce they already use seagrass in cosmetics and also in medical. Because they have anti-inflammatory properties. So especially to treat pathogens and also virus like dengue fever. Okay.
Well, that's a really interesting idea and very informative. Well, we have a lot of questions here right now because maybe
Sehingga
eager to know what is probably seagrass it is. So we move on to the next question from our friend Clement 5623, which is saying, which is asking, berapa kedalaman maksimum pertumbuhan seagrass?
Okay, so seagrass selalunya dia tumbuh di kawasan di perairan kedalaman 1 hingga 3 meter. Tetapi ada juga yang boleh tumbuh sehingga 60 meter. Contohnya macam di temperate countries kan, di Japan, di Korea. So dia boleh tumbuh until 60 meters.
Oh, that's really interesting. There's a question from Daphne Yong Z Swan asking, are there many species of seagrass edible by human? I'm thinking the same question.
Okay, seagrass ni kita tak boleh makan directly, okay, because we don't have enough research yet, but we only extract some of the chemicals or biological compounds to use in, like I said before, in cosmetics and also in medicine.
I see.
Kalau di Sabah ni, kita ada biji Anhelus acroides. Okay, kalau orang Bajau, dia suka makan dia punya seed kan, itu boleh dimakan.
All right. Thank you, Doctor. Vera Marcus Soil asking, seagrass and seaweed, are they different?
Yes. Okay, seagrass ni dia seaweed dengan seagrass. Okay, ramai yang confuse antara seagrass dengan seaweed. Kalau seaweed, dia tak ada structure macam terrestrial plant. Okay, dia cuma ada daun dan dia ada holdfast. Okay, holdfast dia untuk anchor dekat substrate. Okay, on the seabed lah. So dia cuma ada daun, dia punya blade dengan anchor yang kita panggil holdfast. Tapi kalau seagrass ni, dia adalah tumbuhan berbunga. Okay, dia ada bunga. Kalau seaweed ni dia tak ada bunga untuk reproduction kan. Okay, seaweed tak ada bunga. Tapi kalau untuk seagrass ni, dia ada bunga. Dia adalah daripada kategori tumbuhan berbunga. Dia adalah satu jenis tumbuhan yang macam pokok yang di daratan ni, tapi dia boleh hidup underwater. Dan dia punya reproduction ataupun some of the species, dia punya life cycle memang fully underwater.
See, wow, I get a new knowledge from Doctor. Well, we always welcome response from the audience and hear questions from Rosli Ahmad asking, untuk pemulihan, bolehkah penanaman seagrass dibuat ke kawasan yang telah rosak?
Ya, boleh. Kita boleh buat seagrass transplantation. Tapi sebelum tu kita kena tengok sesuatu kawasan tu originally dia ada seagrass species apa. Sebab kita tak nak introduce invasive species ataupun species lain yang kita cakap apa, dia compete dengan endemic species yang dah ada di kawasan tu. Jadi kalau katakan sesuatu kawasan tu memang ada species A, contohnya kan, seagrass species A. Kalau kita nak buat transplantation, kita kena make sure kita guna species yang sama untuk tanam balik lah. dan kena make sure kawasan tu bebas. Kita tak ada sewage kan, domestic pollution ke, okey, tempat tu terlindung, tidak banyak aktiviti manusia sebab bila ada aktiviti manusia ni macam fishing semua kan, dia akan rosakkan kawasan seagrass tu. So bila kita tanam fragments of seagrass, sama ada seedlings dia ataupun small fragments untuk dia hidup, kita kena make sure tempat tu tempat yang terhindar lah daripada aktiviti-aktiviti manusia supaya dia boleh membesar lah, dia boleh membesar dan membentuk kanopi.
Baik, mungkin ada soalan daripada Jovin Galambun. Dia tanya, di mana boleh dapat ini seagrass? Kalau di rumah macam mana mau tanam?
Di rumah. Okay, seagrass ni memang dia ikut spesies juga kan. So kalau yang selalu kita jumpa di Sabah ni, Anhylas acroides, dia perlukan pasir yang sesuai kan, dia muddy sikit, dia grow on the sandy beaches kan. So kalau kamu nak tanam di rumah tu, mungkin tak sesuai jugalah sebab seagrass dia perlukan marine water, dia nak clear water. Air laut, lepas tu dia perlukan sunlight untuk photosynthesis. And then kalau kita nak buat eksperimen tu bolehlah kamu letak dalam tangki. Kamu letak dalam tangki, kamu letak fragments of seagrass, kamu supply dia dengan seawater, dengan oksigen, dan kamu boleh try lah tanam di rumah. Tapi seboleh-bolehnya kita buat dia punya persekitaran tu hampir dengan habitat semula jadi dia.
Kita ada soalan lagi daripada rakan kita yang sangat tertarik untuk mengetahui tentang seagrass, daripada Wid Jones Lojunga, bertanya, adakah teknologi untuk mengesan pencemaran seagrass melalui satelit dari mana-mana negara di dunia?
Untuk
How to identify
check thank you. So untuk check seagrass, usually kita tengok daripada satellite images lah. Kita tengok dari satellite images ataupun kita tengok based on our observation. Kalau kita nak check teknologi tu selalunya based on observation. Apa yang kita boleh buat, kita boleh ambil water sample daripada kawasan seagrass tu, kita boleh check di magma, kita boleh check dia punya pH sama ada rendah atau tinggi, sama ada tempat tu tercemar dengan red tides, suhu dia macam mana, pH dia macam mana, check dia punya dissolved oxygen. So kita boleh tahu tempat tu tercemar atau tidak, sebab kalau tercemar, dissolved oxygen akan rendah kan.
Baik, terima kasih dokter. Clement, rakan Clement ada soalan yang menarik juga, bertanya, dugong merupakan haiwan laut yang meragut di kawasan rumput laut. Pada pandangan dokter, adakah populasi dugong dilaporkan di perairan Sabah?
Ya, kita ada dugong kan. Kalau kamu ikut STEM series ni sebelum ni, daripada Dr. John Madin, 2 hari sebelum ni kan, dia ada cerita juga kan di Sabah ni kita ada dugong semua tu. Jadi Sabah kan kita ada banyak tempat, kita ada banyak population of seagrass beds. So kalau habitat ni dicemari, populasi dugong akan berkurangan juga. Sebab tu kita kena preserve kawasan seagrass kita lah. Jadi sebagai setiap orang memainkan peranan yang penting lah dalam pollution ni, kita tak boleh kita tak boleh assume orang lain yang buat pollution ni. Kita pun terlibat sama. Jadi apa yang kita boleh buat, jangan buang sampah merata-rata, Kita buang sampah di tong sampah, jangan buang kalau kita pergi ke pantai atau apa-apa kan, kadang kita tapau makanan, lepas makan kita buang je kan dia punya food container. So tolong buang dalam tong sampah, walaupun kamu rasa benda ni simple tapi ramai yang tidak ikut. Ini akan menyebabkan pencemaran dan of course akan destroy the seagrass habitat. Kalau habitat ni musnah, banyak kehidupan yang lain akan musnah sebab kebanyakan haiwan akuatik ni, marine organism ni dia depends on the seagrass as main food and also as their home.
Okay. Mungkin kita beralih kepada soalan yang berbentuk aplikasi daripada Jessica Martinus. Ini bertanya, apakah senarai ubat atau kosmetik yang menggunakan seagrass? Seagrass based product.
Okay, so kalau senarai tu saya tak dapat bagi, tapi kita tak ada kosmetik yang menggunakan spesies macam contohnya ada daripada kumpulan Halophila. Okay, Halophila yang spesies genus Halophila yang digunakan dalam cosmetics. Okay, dan juga untuk anti-inflammatory properties lah daripada grup tu, spesies tu. Dan ada studies pun masih tengah dibuat sebab kebanyakan research sebelum ni kebanyakannya fokus on seaweed kan. So seagrass ni tak banyak exposure. So sekarang ni baru kita tengah buat research on the seagrass.
Okay, baik, terima kasih doktor. Soalan daripada Aimin Channel. Adakah tumbuhan darat yang sama dengan seagrass dari segi bentuk maupun khasiatnya?
Okay, macam yang saya cakap tadi, seagrass ni dia evolve dari terrestrial plant. Maksudnya, okay, first kali kita ada algae kan, microalgae kan, yang kecil kan. So, daripada blue-green algae tu baru dia evolve jadi tumbuhan yang lain. So, seagrass ni dia datang daripada tumbuhan daratan juga. Cuma structure dia dah diubah suai supaya dia dapat adapt dengan marine environment lah. Dia sebenarnya ialah pokok, sama juga dengan struktur pokok di daratan, dia sama je, cuma dia colonize sea area lah, dekat coastal area tu, dia colonize sana dan dia adapt dia punya structure untuk survive.
Soalan daripada Nur Azman Kasim. Bertanya, adakah sesetengah seagrass itu beracun yang boleh memberi kesan sekiranya terkena kulit? Ya,
Okay, seagrass ni dia ada jenis-jenis yang beracun juga, okay. Sebab apa dia beracun? Sebab dia keluarkan chemical compounds tu untuk protect diri dia ataupun dia tak nak seagrass lain untuk tumbuh sebelah dia. So bila dia keluarkan biochemical tu, compounds tu, seagrass lain yang invasive species ke apa-apa yang nak tumbuh sebelah dia tu akan mati jugalah. So ada juga species yang macam tu.
The question from Suang Talun. We will be looking for the question is, tidakkah seagrass boleh menjejaskan ekologi? Contohnya tumbuhan darat seperti pokok akasia yang dipuji kebaikan suatu masa dahulu, tetapi sekarang ini menjadi masalah kepada tumbuhan lain.
Saya rasa tidak sebab seagrass ni dia tumbuh dekat kawasan intertidal kan. Dia boleh coexist dengan tumbuh-tumbuhan lain juga. Sebab sesuatu kawasan intertidal tu bukan ada satu spesies seagrass je. Dia ada beberapa spesies yang boleh hidup sekali. Okay. Dan seagrass ni penting sebab okay, kalau mangrove ni dia punya sedimen ni dia lebih halus, air dia pun lebih murky kan. Okay, so dia akan tahan semua, katakan kita buang sampah ke apa, memang dia akan tahan. Okay, mangrove ni akan tahan. Tapi macam mana dengan partikel yang kecil-kecil tu? Okay, kalau kamu tengok bakau, dia punya roots tu, rhizophore semua tu, dia besar kan. So dia akan tahan, katakan contohlah, dia akan tahan sampah sarap yang besar-besar yang kita buang yang ada dari tebing. Dia akan tahan. Lepas tu kita pergi second ecosystem. Lepas mangrove, seagrass. So seagrass pula dia kecil. Okay, compared to mangrove dia kecil. So apa yang dia buat? Dia tahan sediments. Okay, so partikel yang kita tak nampak, excess nutrients. Kalau mangrove ni dia kaya dengan nutrient kan, phosphorus, ammonia semua tu kan. So seagrass pula dia akan trap excessive nutrients ni supaya semua kotoran ataupun excessive nutrient ni terperangkap, termasuklah karbon semua kan terperangkap dalam seagrass. Lepas tu air yang keluar dari kawasan ekosistem seagrass ke coral reef pula lagi jernih. Sebab coral reef pun dia ada ekosistem dia tersendiri kan. So coral reef ni kalau dia sedimentation dia banyak, dia akan menyebabkan coral tu mati juga. Okay, so seagrass ni dia akan trap banyak sedimen, lepas tu bila kita alih ke coral reef, lagi jernih air di situ kan. So sebenarnya semua ekosistem ni dia saling membantu sesama lain lah. Dia tak ada macam dia bukan bawa keburukan, dia bawa lebih banyak kebaikan daripada keburukan. Unless kita ada invasive species. Invasive species ni macam kita introduce, okay, species tu bukan yang terdapat di kawasan tu tetapi kita introduce, maybe through ballast water kan. Kalau kapal ni dia dari sesuatu negara dia bergerak ke negara lain kan, ke ocean lain. Lepas tu dia tukar ballast water. So maybe dalam ballast water tu ada seed kan, seed of seagrass species yang daripada negara lain. So bila dia buang di negara kita, di perairan negara kita, seed tu terlepas. So kalau macam tu, species yang lain tu dia akan jadi invasive species dan akan compete dengan native species atau endemic species yang memang dah muncul exist semula jadi di kawasan perairan kita.
Thank you, Doctor. Maybe we can clarify our misconception about latok. And the question for Maulud Mike and also Norsidawati Wainim asking, can we use the seagrass like juice drink? And also latok, adakah latok juga sejenis seagrass? Maybe Doctor can clarify this.
Okay, latok tu ialah seaweed, okay, Colepa lentilifera. That one is type of seaweed, okay. Selalunya seaweed yang kita boleh makan, yang fresh untuk makan lah. Kalau seagrass ni kita tak boleh makan, dia more like rumput kan, dia rumput laut. Kita tak boleh makan seagrass unless kita dah extract only the compounds yang kita boleh masukkan dalam macam vitamin ataupun ubat lah. Okay, seagrass seed tu kita boleh makan, tapi daun dia tu kita tak boleh makan. Tapi kalau latuk ni dia whole plant, maksudnya latuk ni dia berbiji-biji kan. So the whole plant tu kita boleh makan. Dia berbeza, dia bukan kumpulan yang sama, satu seaweed, satu seagrass.
So setakat ni kita tahulah yang latok itu bukan daripada keluarga seagrass. Jadi moving on the next question from Wit Jones Lojunga. Apakah perkembangan seagrass di sekitar Pulau Manukan, Pulau Sapi dan Tanjung Lipat di Kota Kinabalu? Apakah pandangan dan harapan doktor terhadap keindahan marine di kawasan ini?
Okey, kalau kita nak tengok kan, kalau di Sabah memang kita punya biodiversity dia sangat cantik. Okey, bukan seagrass sahaja. Kita ada variety of seagrass, seaweed, coral reef species. Okey, kalau di Malaysia ni kita ada sebanyak lebih kurang 16 spesies seagrass. Okey, and daripada 16 spesies seagrass ni, 12 spesies kita boleh temui di Sabah. Jadi di Sabah ni kita punya species diversity tu tinggi, okay, untuk seagrass species kan, tinggi. Jadi apa yang kita boleh buat, okay, ada banyak juga kita, even dekat UMS sendiri, Borneo Marine Research Institute, okay, kat sini, kita ada program transplantation of seagrass juga, okay, diketuai oleh Dr. Idris Saleh, dan juga kita ada apa, Seagrass Guardian. Seagrass Guardian, founder dia student UMS juga kan, founder dia Michael Yap. Okay, diorang ni kita ada collaboration dekat Sepanggar Bay dengan antara UMS dengan Sabah Ports untuk plantation of seagrass lah. So itu antara aktiviti yang kita boleh buat untuk memupuk kesedaran dan at the same time kita baiki balik kawasan, kita conserve and also kita baiki balik kawasan yang seagrass dia, habitat dia dah dimusnahkan disebabkan maybe sebab macam dekat Bay ni sebab coastal development kan. Kita ada resort, kita banyak ada resort semua dekat Sabah ni kan, coastal development untuk buat jetty, okay. Bila kita buat construction ni macam kita buat harbour, jetty semua ni, untuk menarik lebih banyak pelancong. Secara tidak sedar kita memusnahkan juga habitat seagrass ni. Jadi sebab tu kita ada inisiatif untuk kita buat plantation macam ni lah.
Maybe that's the last question from today. All right, thank you. We have a good sharing and knowledge about seagrass ecosystem. I'm sorry to say that we already reached at the end of our meaningful session today. But I hope that we have learned today, what we have learned today might increase our awareness and also boost our knowledge about seagrass. From me, it is not late to say that Happy Independence Day, Malaysia, to everyone. So to conclude this session, but hey, don't worry, we have our next great session tomorrow at 2nd of September 2021 with our interesting interesting topic, which is biodiversity marine, coral garden, and pemulihan terumbu karang di Pulau Layang-Layang. And will be coming out at your screen this Thursday by Mr. Daud Awang. So stay tuned and see you all next session. Me, Wahyudin bin Muhammad Ramin, and our U-Science crew, thanks for having us today. Thank you and stay safe, everyone. Thank you, Doctor, for having us
Thank
today.
you very much.